We are going to be continuing our own implementation of Twitch integrations today. Yesterday, we got song requests working, so you guys should be able to request songs in the chat like you do with Dylan's stream. And today, we're going to see if we can get a few chat commands working. Yesterday, we added, sorry for bothering you guys, but can you up the volume of the mic a bit from OBS? Yes, I think I can. Let me check. Is that better? Hello, testing. Let me know if that's any better. Looks the same. Okay, hang on. Let me know if that's any better. Otherwise, if it's not, I can adjust it on my system. Maybe Dylan was too loud. Everything is fine for you, 6412. If anybody else is having trouble hearing me, let me know. But yeah, we're going to try to go a little further. Feel free to call me Ethan, by the way. All right. Cool. Thank you. Where were we yesterday? We were here in the chat macros service, and what did we do? Oh yeah, we added a test command. Let's see if it's still working. Nice. It's still working. So I think what we want to do is we want to add support for like the song queue commands, which means that we need to actually flesh out this song queue service. So I can get the current song queue, get queue from Spotify. This should give me back the song queue. And in here, we should have like a currently playing thing. And the queue itself. So I guess we can try to assemble this into an array. This is still good. Creates a new array. Creates a new array from a value that might not be an iterable. We could do currently playing equals option. This is like really ridiculous. We could easily not do this. This is a lot of boxing for no reason. Let's just do this. And we can import all those generated types from API. Main Spotify. I'm not gonna read that. I'm not gonna read that. Excuse me. Type. Spotify song queue. Oops. Oh, let's get the song queue. Okay, so that should give us the currently playing, and then we should be able to get what is the effect AI provider you are working on. Oh, I didn't adjust my title. Shoot. Helping on effects. Sorry. Forgot to update my title. Right now, I'm not working on an AI provider. I could. I have to finish. I've got a PR open for a Gemini provider and a PR open for a Bedrock provider that I need to finish up. So if you folks would prefer I work on that instead, we could do that. If that's more interesting. Right now, I'm working on just like a little app that I put together for my own Twitch integrations. So I'm a 753 Twitch. I can share it because it's open source. This is what we're working on right now. But again, like if you folks would rather see some AI provider development, just let me know and I can swap over. Both are equally fine with me. So now we can do Q. Nah, Twitch integration is cool. All right, cool. Let's actually do this instead of let's do piped Python lab. Currently playing a Q. And this is going to return a song queue, which is going to be queued up parent or currently playing or array. We're just going to spread that in. Similarly with the queue. It's problem here. Now, song queue. Cool. And maybe we can just log this out for a moment. Console.log to you. And then we can do one of these fly logs. Cool. And this is going to be a dependency of import Spotify song queue. It's going to be a dependency of this service. I'm really surprised we didn't have more bike shedding on the regex we came up with yesterday. Spotify song queue dot do. Yeah, this is good. And this needs the Spotify client. So dependency is defaults. What's up, Mattia? How's it going? I always feel like I don't get enough Dylan in the morning. I have to join like his stream late because I'm always getting my wife and my daughter. I'm helping them like get out the door in the morning. So I always joined his stream like an hour into it. Never get enough Dylan. Okay, so my Spotify song request service is already being included in the main build, I believe. Yes. So, actually, wait, this is not a dependency of that service. It's going to be a dependency of the chat macro service. JBall Premiere. Dylan stream is usually my go-to while cooking lunch, so usually lurking around. Yeah, for me, I just like I like listening to his workflow. Trying to help out when I can with stuff. I didn't post on Twitch or Twitter that I was live. Twitch.tv/LinWeaver ad blue. Man, Twitter timeline, my entire Twitter timeline is effect. Jesus. No, I don't. There's no issue with that at all. But it's crazy. The last time we went viral was almost like a year ago, and there was way more hate than we're getting now. So that's a good signal, I think. Okay, so in the chat macro service, we're going to have access to the song queue because we're going to need it for some of the commands that we're going to develop. So, like, we want to add a song queue command and a currently playing, or maybe actually we'll just do what Dylan has. I think he just has a song command. Let's double check. Source hub subscribers. There is a there's a song, there's a queue. All right. We'll probably do both. We'll do this and we'll do this. We'll see if we can figure this out. But before we do that, let's deploy this again. I'm pretty proud of myself right now. The image I built for this service is pretty lean. I think it's like 80 megs, which doesn't sound lean, but for a JavaScript app, it's pretty lean. Or 59 megs, yeah. Pretty tiny. All right. Let's see if we get the song queue back. Does look like we got something. So, got a bunch of track objects. That's good. So we are getting stuff. And is this the stuff, like, are these requested? These are definitely not requested songs because you folks haven't requested anything yet today. Um, let's see. I don't know how it works really. This is resistance. So how does a Spotify song queue work? Let's look. Spotify API. You folks can join me on this journey. Web API, player, get to users queue. All right. This gets the list of objects that make up the user's queue. Oh man, Mattia, you're a man after my own heart. I love the Arcane soundtrack. I love the Arcane soundtrack. I think, like, I don't know if you know, but so Arcane, I'm pretty sure, Arcane soundtrack custom. They like, I'm fairly certain that they commissioned every single song for both seasons, like custom for the show, which is why all the music is like so good. Um, I I think I can't remember exactly, but I'm fairly certain. Yeah, like there's this one song by a French artist that I freaking love. In fact, I'm gonna add it to my own queue. Uh, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Mm, copy link to song. I just dropped it in the yeah, I just dropped it in the chat. I think it's a French artist. Um, but yeah, that song was fantastic. I love that song. All right. So the response we get back is a currently playing, which can be a track or an episode object, and then a queue. So the currently playing, we already know it can be null. We're handling that. The queue can also be empty. I think we're handling that. Wow. Spotify's developer docs are like very nice. This is a visual bug, but this is nice though. Uh, so I'm just trying to figure out like how we ended up with this queue because this was a song I had already played. Hello, Fubar Quicks. How's it going? All right, so like if we redeploy this, like or a fly machine stop, and we restart it. Damia, do you want to request a track? You have to click the channel reward to do it. In the bottom left of your chat, there's a little like channel rewards button. And then in there, there's a like song queue request. I made it as cheap as I humanly possibly could on Twitch. It's like one channel point, but you just click that and drop the Spotify link in there. There you go. That song is great. Stromae is Belgian. Oh, cool. Palm is French. Cool. Yeah, that song is fantastic. Like I remember watching the episode that song was played in, where it's like Jinx. I think it's the one with. Is it the one with Jinx and or is it the one with I can't remember which scene it is now. Yeah. Oh my god, why am I forgetting the name of that character? I used to play a lot of League too. uh, anyway, I just think Arcane was such a Echo. Thank you. I think Arcane was just such a fantastic show. Like they knocked it out of the park. I mean, apparently it was really expensive to make. They spent a lot of money on it, but what a great show. Sure. So here is this cubes. Okay, so yeah, this is the currently playing one. This song also reminds me of like whenever I go to Italy, the type of music that we listen to while we're there. Um, like while we're in like my wife's family's from Naples, so whenever we're there, we listen to like this type of music. My family's from the other side of Italy and Puglia, which we might actually end up in Puglia next year, but yeah. Okay, the queue is returning expect the data in the expected order. So I think what we can do uh let's see if we can do um get current song. Uh, which chat macros not good. Oh, shit. Well, that song Q equals it. My song Q. Please. Here we can get the uh let's just do this for now. Uh I'm like trying to be more diligent in this project about using effect.fn so that I can give better feedback like Dylan does. And I definitely agree with him on some of the points he's made about the usage of effect.fn not being the greatest at the moment. Um, particularly like the span name being in here. But based on his feedback, we've already got a proposal for 4.0 that actually would support the syntax that he wanted, where we like eliminate this, and you can if you want to use effect.fn, great. And then if you want a span associated with effect.fn, you just use the normal with span, blah blah blah. And then this could actually be a function that has the R's, so that you can attach like attributes, etc. So we're already like working on that. All right. So this is now a function. Current song equals. Now I think we do want V-Ray module from effect. That head. You. And what other Arcane soundtrack songs are really good? I like the one also that they play. It might be from season 1. Hang on, let me look. Arcane. Season 1. I like this one. And I like this one. Brindanovich, hello. We are working on some custom Twitch integrations built with Effect. And I'm specifically, I'll send you the link. I really need to do like a today command. Hang on, the link is somewhere in the chat. Here. Basically some custom Twitch integrations. So we've been focused primarily on integrating with Spotify so that you folks can use channel rewards to request Spotify tracks. So you'll see like folks in the chat requesting songs. But now we're working on trying to get some chat commands working so that you folks can see like the current song and you can see like the current queue. Like maybe we'll get like the first 3 items from the queue and display that in chat or something like that. Source pub sub subscribers. Excuse me, sorry. I have a little cough today. Bitch. 1 second, folks. Sorry. Okay, so I think what we're going to do here is hit option dot match on this. Switch. But yeah, Brendanovich, feel free if you want to try out requesting Spotify songs. Basically, you just go to Spotify, go to the grab like the song URL, and paste it in when you have to like click the channel rewards button and do a song request. And you paste in the link, and it should add it to my Spotify queue. If we don't have a current song, we probably want to send a message to you folks. saying something. So we probably actually want to do like I think instead of this logic, we want to do something a bit more imperative. Yeah, this is one of the songs I requested. I love this song. Since you mentioned the today command, I figured I'd have one for you. Probably I'm currently rewriting with the fact. Oh, that's your project? Dude, I looked at that yesterday. Somebody sent me that, a link to that. Maybe it was you. I thought it was super cool. I'll have to like dig in a little deeper, but it looks really cool. Let's take a look. Control your MIDI devices? I don't know. Sure. Chat message today. This is super cool. I really like this. I wonder if we can build this into my Twitch integrations, but yeah, this is cool. I really like this project, Brendanovich. Very, very cool stuff. I'll have to like look at the implementations a little bit more since it's built with Effect, but super cool. Okay. If you make an account and link your Twitch, it should work in your browser. Oh, cool. I'll consider it. I kind of want to like have all my Twitch integrations built into this app just because I'm trying to avoid using any SDKs for anything. So if you actually look at the implementations I have for Twitch and Spotify, for example, like Twitch, I'm just using raw HTTP calls for everything using Effects HTTP client. Same thing for Spotify. So Spotify, I actually generated a client using the Open API generator that Tim primarily worked on. I made a couple of PRs to it to support Spotify's Open API spec, but so I actually have like a fully generated Spotify domain file here that's all implemented with schema, and it exports a constructor that allows you to make an HTTP client for it. So this API.make is literally just a fully generated HTTP client. Some people do everything in macrograph and others just use it as a basic event writer. Yeah, no, I still think it's super cool. I want to see if I can build everything I need in here. Again, just for my own practice. Sometimes with Effect, like I feel like the more you dog food your own stuff, the more you learn what's missing, what's not, what you like, what you don't like. Obviously, we listen to our users as well, but we also try to dog food Effect as much as we can. Like Tim's built a bunch of apps with it. I have built less apps with it since I had less reason to, but I figured this was a good reason to try to dog food it. So we're gonna, if we don't have a current song, we're gonna return yield Twitch client.send chat message. Then we've got to build the chat message here. But before we do that, we're going to retry this 3 times 3 schedule dot fixed 200 millis, and then we're going to ignore loud if that fails. Let's make the message. So message is going to be, I'm always finding new Effect APIs. Still, dude, you and me both. I'm one of the core maintainers, and I'll depart from the open source development and start working on more like proprietary stuff we're building. And then I'll return back to like build stuff with our open source lives, and I'll just like find all this new stuff. What do we want to say here? So respond to chat macro. What do we actually get here? We get the full event, right? Yeah, I think this matcher thing, we're going to want to get the full event. Event, channel, chat, message event, because we want to have that context so we can do like at event dot message dot shoot rich API reference. We need the event sub. Actually, we can do it. Event sub reference channel dot or chat dot channel chat message delete channel chat clear. I need to go to the top. Subscription types. Here we go. Channel chat message. This is what we want. Who requested Freebird? It is Cyprian. Thank you very much for the follow. It means a lot. Thank you very, very much. We're going to want this chatter username. We'll add that to here. Oops. Go here. Brendanovich, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate that. Where's this nested under? It's at the top level. So we actually want it in here. All schema dot string dot annotations. Chatter username. The username of the user listening to the message. Okay. Now let's user role event dot message. Sorry, event dot chatter username. Maybe we should just inline that. What do we want to say here? No song. No song are currently in the Spotify song Fuel. Also, the current version of MG isn't using effect. The rebuild is on dev.macrograph. Needed a full rewrite for headless operation, multiplayer editing. Effect has been a great base for it. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, I don't know if you're in Discord or not. I'm sure you are, but if you're not, feel free to join and like ping us as much as you want if you need help with anything or whatever. Okay, so if we don't have a song, we send a message saying we don't have a song. But if we do have a song, then what do we want to do? We want to send you the currently playing track, right? So we probably actually need more information because we probably want Const message. Probably want something like uh probably want like the song name and the artists, maybe based on the artists. Yeah, I'm sure they do. Oh no, I get the artists um from the queue. Event. No. What are we about to do here? Okay, just checked your repo and already learned a new API scheme without property signature. Yeah, it's unfortunate. So usually rename is a better API to use. And in Schema 4.0, you can use rename to do what I did. But because I'm using a class-based schema, you can only pass in 3.0's schema, you can only pass in an object with the fields for that class. So like you have to rename each field individually. If you used like a struct schema, you could rename the fields like at once with I think it's rename key or whatever it is. We actually talked about this yesterday. But yeah, what I have to do instead, since I'm using a class-based schema, is convert the schema to a property signature and then rename the key associated with that property signature. Yeah, so it's a little more verbose, but for certain things, I like the class-based schemas. And in 4.0, they're getting way more ergonomic to use because you'll be able to pass any schema in to the class constructor to create like the class-based schema. Okay, current song dot value. What do we have in here? So we probably actually only want to display uh we probably only want to write a message to chat. Let's if song equals parent. Let's actually do this. Queue item. If queue item dot value dot type equals track. We'll need to figure out what we're gonna do in the case where type is episode. Didn't even notice. Thank you very much for the follow. Really appreciate it. It means a lot. All your guys' support means a lot. So thank you very much for joining and watching and hanging out, requesting songs, giving me feedback, chatting. It's nice to have company while we work out how to build this thing. So const song is going to be the queue item dot value view item dot song dot name. Do you work full time for Effect or as a contributor? Both. I'm an employee of Effectful Technologies, and I also have been a core contributor to the library for like the better part of 6 years, I think, or 5 years. Mike and I have been friends a long time. Why is it recommended to use a class for HTTP API definitions instead of just const API? It's not recommended. It's just like if you want an a less verbose hover experience. So if you want like an opaque identifier for the API, you can do it. Either works. Uh, Yeah, no worries. No worries. So let's do this. Const name equals um oh man, everything is optional. All right, let's use the array APIs to make this a little bit easier. So artists equals brand pipe. We'll do song.artists or an empty array. And we'll do array.net. Filter map artist. Middle pointer, thank you very much for the follow. It means a lot. Yeah, super excited that you guys are all hanging out. Hopefully this is interesting. If it's not, we can work on other stuff. But option dot from nullable artist. So this filter map is a way in effect for you to filter and map an array at the same time. So artist here is the artist name is nullable. So what I'm doing is I'm creating an option out of this nullable. So if this is undefined, I'll get an option.none. And if it is defined, I'll get an option.sum. And filter map will automatically filter out anything that's none. And it will retain anything that's option.sum. So we can do this all in one pass. Got to go now, but super cool seeing people work on stream control stuff like this. It's been a huge part of my life for a while. All right, man. Thank you very much for joining. Appreciate it. And now we have an array of strings. We actually don't need pipe, because what we're going to do is we're going to do this. And then we're going to say name artists.length equals 0. Custom light, empty string. Otherwise, we'll do by artists stop join. I'm still unhappy with what did I do? Let's drag this over. Give ourselves a little more real estate to work with here. What did I break? Yeah, looks like it was an extra bracket. All right, so if we have a track, we actually send the message. With the current song, uh, yeah, Frank, you were the one who dropped it in the chat yesterday. I was just telling Brendan that somebody dropped it in the chat yesterday, and I was super impressed. It's really cool stuff. Naki's Anita, thank you very much for the follow. Super appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying the stream. Okay, so this thing now, uh, there's a bunch of possible errors that we can get, which happens if we try to get the queue. So we probably want to handle that. For you folks. So let's pipe this to an effect.catch all and see what's in here. Maybe a client error, parse error. Okay, I don't think that we care about any of these. I think we just want to send a message. Oh, Etsy official. Thank you very much for the follow. I need to get like stream alerts set up so that I can have something exciting happen for you all when you follow. But I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Yeah. Okay, so if this fails, then what we want to do is we want to send a message. Something like this. To your request for the current song failed. You're welcome. I'm using effects since 2 or 3 months or so. Didn't know you were streaming. I'm here to learn more. All right, cool. Well, ask questions, request songs, do whatever. Glad to have you here and glad that you're using effect. I hope you're enjoying it. That got as, and we're just going to default this to an empty array because if we fail and we get an empty array, well, we don't want to do double send the message here. Let's get the exit out of this. And if exit dot is failure, exit, then we're going to do this. Otherwise, Look at Mattia's LSP. Look at this. This is so good. This is so good. I don't even know how many times I've been bitten by the not yielding an effect thing, having like dangling effects. I don't even know how many times I've done this. Ads incoming. Yeah, really. Every time I try to like hype up Mattia's work, he gets an ad. Okay, so now if the request for the queue fails, we're gonna send a message back. How do we send emojis in messages? Twitch, send chat message emoji. Sending emotes is done by typing the case sensitive name of the emote as is. Is there a rip emote? Well, Devs one, thank you very, very much for the follow. I really appreciate it. We just hit 80 followers. It's wild. Thank you very, very much. I can't believe there's no like default. Is there not a default like rip emoji in Twitch? Rip. There's a rip and pepperonis one. Let's just do not like this. All right. So that should handle the song request. So macro matcher now is actually going to get a channel message event thing. And we're going to match on the message match dot. I don't know how to do like compound matches, but let's see if this works. Text. So. And we should get the event here. And we should be able to do get parent flow. And this should return effect.void if we did everything, or it should return void if we did everything right. Yeah, and it should never fail. We'll always do something in the case of failure. Cool. We can actually just change this to respond via macro, or maybe handle macro, handle chat macro. I have an obsession with naming things, so apologies if that's aggravating to anybody. One thing I would like to add also is get a debug log every time I get a message that I'm listening to. So let's go to Twitch. Twitch, I think it's an API. No. Client. Listen for event. So right now we're log tracing the event, but I think instead what we want to do is log debug, or even this could be a log info. Received event of type Yeah. Actually, no, we need to do this after we do the filter. Because otherwise we'll log like every single thing we get, but we are only listening to specific events, but why is this? No, actually, this should be fine since we're only listening to, we're specifically subscribing to certain events. Maybe we'll annotate logs. This can't be a requested song. let's let's just skip that one. Uh condition. Wait, did you request that song, Sharper Guy? I'm sorry if you did. I'm not like the biggest fan of Outcast. What was the question? How are you finding Fly? I have a big project. I'm sorry if you wanted to listen to that one, Sharper Guy. That's my bad. I won't skip any more songs in the queue. Um, how are you finding Fly? I have a big project to ship and typically default to Vercel. I think it depends on what you're doing. I love Fly for like backend stuff. I just think they provide a really nice developer experience. They're quick, like for certain things. No, I just was like thinking it wasn't super offensive or something. No history. Just wasn't a fan of Outcast. Um, but I won't skip anymore. It's I'll just leave the queue alone. Um, yeah, I like Fly a lot for um certain types of apps. Like I really like it for this type of thing where you just have a backend service that you're running that you want to like quickly iterate on. Render and Railway are also like great providers for that sort of thing. I think it just depends on the developer experience you're looking for. I typically just default to Fly, but the other providers I just listed are really great too. But if you're doing like anything front end, like serving a website or something like that, I think Vercel's got too much nice stuff to ignore. Like for example, we host the Effect website on Vercel. So I think it just depends on what you're like what services you're deploying and how you like what type of experience you want to have. Like Fly is maybe a tiny bit lower level is not the right word. It's like you have a little more control over the infrastructure. Um, Vercel is like a lot more. I think Vercel is better suited for front end stuff. For back end stuff, I would go elsewhere. Okay. Whoops. Chat macros. We have an error in here somewhere. There it is. Fly deploy. Probably going to opt for next front end on Vercel with Effect RPC as an API route to start. That's exactly what we do for the Effect website. The playground is so our whole website is an Astro website, aside from the landing page, which is still on Next, because we didn't want to rebuild it in Astro, and we just didn't want to dump the time into it. we wanted to focus on the docs content, not like on tweaking front-endy stuff. And there were like 1,000 other priorities for us at the time. But the Effect website is actually hosted on Vercel. We have an Astro site for the docs and blog and podcast, etc. And the Playground is actually hosted as a just like a Astro Island, a React Astro Island inside of our Astro website. And it uses RPC for the like backend communication it needs, which is great. I posted this in Discord, but how are you handling the RPC client calls errors in the front end? I know we've discussed the issues around React Query and the likes before. We don't have, I mean, you can look at it. It's all open source if you want to. I'll point you at it. We are using RX, but not really for the RPC stuff, I don't think. Or maybe we are. We are using RX. Again, we like to dog food as much stuff as we can. But where are we? Components, editor, services. No, these are the editor services. Domain. Where do we put it? Source. Routes. No. If you feel like happiness is you. Here we go. This, like our URL shortener, for example, like when you visit the Playground, the thing that allows you to share URLs here is like all of that functionality is built with RPC. So this is like the RPC definitions. And then we just materialize a client out of it. And then we just use that client everywhere. But we're using RX for this. But you could easily like dump this layer into a managed runtime that you start at the beginning of your app inside like React context. Like this is just a effect service, right? So if you where is our workshop effect? So if you follow, for example, like Tim's recommendations from the workshop, he's got some examples in here of, wow, GitHub, Jesus. Demos, maybe? Section 2. React solution. Runtime. So he's got this like this thing in here that uses React Query. And does stuff. So you could look at this. It uses React Query, I think, to basically create a runtime for effect. So I can paste this link to you. There's a lot of good stuff in here. This is the workshop demo that Tim did. And this is like I would look at the shorten service here that we have for the website. This is again, the URL shortener. It uses RPC. So you can take a look at that. Maybe RX isn't going to be too bad. It's not too bad, but like I would say it took me a while to learn, and I still don't consider myself like an expert in RX. I think that we still have some iterations on that API to make it like feel more, I don't know, feel less terrible. It's not a bad API. It's just a little confusing and there's not as much docs as there should be. But Tim did add, he did add some docs like about basic usage of RX. The usage that we have on the website is very advanced, but that's primarily to handle like all the editor stuff. Yeah, I would take a look at the examples that Tim has for using RX and also the examples for not using RX and just see like which fits your use case better if you really want to use effect RPC client. I'm gonna use the restroom, guys. I'll be right back. Sharper Guy and Lau Keel, thank you very much for the follow. I really, really appreciate the support, guys. Thank you. Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. Okay. So that was deployed. We should be able to do. Hey, cool. So now you guys can like take a look at the current song in chat. Yeah, see, I like being able to see all of this stuff. So you, like with the logging we've set up, this is all debug logging. We can probably shut this off. But we can see uh we can see like the events we're getting and everything like that. I think maybe instead of what we did, let's go back to uh, this received event of no, this receives all of this. Received event. And we can add this as I don't really think we need the conditions in here. We can just do type event dot description dot type. And if we move this annotate logs, is there a stream dot annotate logs? Stream. Yeah. Um, we could wrap this whole call in an annotate logs, which would annotate all the logs for all of these effects. But I don't know if we want that. We'll see how it feels. All right, so let's commit that. Um, yeah, skip git commit fm add current song at macro. Push. Cool. And then we want to do something similar for. We want to do something similar for um, the queue. So we'll do a song queue macro. So wow, I can't get song here. So we'll probably end up being able to extract some of this logic, but let's see how this goes. So const get song queue is going to be another effect.fn. Twitch chat macros to get song queue. I am such a big fan of My Chemical Romance. I still am. I think I love them. I've been a fan of them since like I was a teenager. Fantastic. Okay. So let's see what logic we can steal here. So we probably do want to steal this. Um I think we can refactor this into just like Maybe we just make this. Yes. The other thing I really love about effect um, is it is exactly like playing with Legos. This isn't exactly what I want because I want to send. I think we can duplicate this logic because we're also going to be changing the message. Request for the song queue failed. Some of this logic is going to be the same as well. So let's see. We get. So we don't want the head. We want the whole thing. Uh, const view equals. What we're going to do is we're going to do array dot filter map exit dot value uh, item. The item type is a track. So we don't need to filter that. We can just filter. All right, just hold everything else in the main Spotify. And this should now give us an array of track objects. In this case, you can just do the normal filter. It was track object, splice, and we'll have just like a little helper down here of social. I think it's fine to have that there. If we end up using that method more times, we'll move it. So now we can do an array.filter this, and we can actually do array.take. Um, And now this we can extract. We can do Twitch chat macros dot no songs in queue. Uh, handle empty queue. Sure. And then we can just do return yield handle clearing event. It could be the same thing down here. If array dot is empty. If it's an empty array, we tell you all that it's there's no items in the queue. Otherwise, we need to like format this somehow. I think it would be interesting if we had like I don't think Twitch allows new lines, but we can do like up next. Hey, Twitch doesn't allow new lines, right? Testing new lines. Nope. So we can do something like this where we have song by artists. So we could probably extract our logic for printing out a song to a little helper. And maybe we just separate these like Dylan does. Like that. Ali and Akako, hello. Thank you very much for the follow. Oh, I missed one as well. X Raiden X06. Thank you very much for the follow. Sorry about that. Const song equals render song. And here we'll just have like a function. We'll probably just move this out of the service. Item is going to be a track object. So we can actually just call this track. Track. Yeah, name, artists, string. And we'll just move this out down here. Bro, Vim's like a champ. I don't know about that. I appreciate it though. I definitely try, but don't always succeed. I appreciate it though. Thank you. Um, Frank Wang, thank you very much for the sub. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much for the support. That means a tremendous amount. You guys have no idea. I hope that you're enjoying this content, and you guys can always feel free to let me know if you want to see other stuff. The WoW developer, have a good one, man. Thank you very much for the follow, by the way. Really appreciate that. Okay. Now we need to render our message. So we have an array of track objects. You know, we could just do this all in one fell swoop. Hey, let's get pipe in here. Pipe exit.value. We're going to filter to only track objects. We're going to take 3 of them. And then we're going to do an array.map on the track objects to render track. Let's go down here. Render track. Render a track. 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 Tracks. And if this is empty, then we handle the empty queue. Otherwise, we're going to do this. Are you a Vimin son? Hey, crowd. Next up. Um, okay, so before we do the join, we need to make sure we're empty or not. I guess we could actually just let's do this, and instead of checking if it's an empty array, we can just check if tracks.length equals 0. That tracks should be a string, and it should render like this now. We just need to add the dot. Yeah, bro, but he's faster than me, bro. Bro, what color scheme are you using? I'm using cappuccino macchiato. Same. That's my color scheme as well. Yeah, I use cappuccino. For anybody new to the chat, by the way, we're building Twitch integrations with Effect. How did you mention a time for coffee? Yeah. I feel you. Mattia. We're building Twitch integrations, so you folks have the ability to request songs to be added to my Spotify queue. If you go to Spotify, copy the link to the song that you want to request, and then go into your channel rewards and just song request, paste in that link, and it'll add it to my queue. The music we listen to is democratized. All right, so this is pretty good, I think. Mhm. So this should work. I also need to adjust the logs I'm getting from effect at some point to avoid printing the timestamp and whatnot. How long have you been Are you asking me, no pointer? Are you good with regex and Vim? Uh, I am average at regex. So this may come as a surprise to you, responding to null pointer. This may come as a surprise to most of you folks, but my first career was not in software engineering. I'm actually a pharmacist by training. I specialized in oncology, specifically stem cell transplantation was my area of specialty for like 7 years out of college. I did 2 years of residency and ads. Never fails. I'll wait. I'll wait for null pointer to be back since he asked the question. Is turbo even worth it? What is turbo? I don't know. You're asking. I have no idea. Song. Cute. Back. Okay. Yeah. So I was just saying my training. Uh, so my first career was not in. Yeah, continue the story of the pharmacist. First career was not in engineering, not software engineering. I was a pharmacist by trade, specialized in oncology, specifically bone marrow transplant, for like 7 years before I got into engineering. But before that, I programmed as a hobby. So I got involved with programming probably like a little after college. And I actually started programming by contributing to Julio's open source projects. So the FPTS ecosystem. Um, so I've probably been programming for like, I don't know, 8 years. But professionally, I got my start in engineering at Tumblr as a data scientist a little after COVID. So in 2021, I believe. And I joined as a data scientist, but they very quickly realized I was not a very good data scientist, but I was really good at engineering. So I actually, after about a month, I joined the data engineering team at Tumblr. And it was a very like small team. So we managed quite a bit of stuff. Lots of services that Tumblr was running for like very large scale data processing. Hate broken data. Yeah, that was my job to make sure data didn't get broken. But we also, it was a very like small team at Tumblr. So we helped with a lot of like system administration tasks. We helped with the Kubernetes cluster. We helped with a lot of stuff. So I learned a ton while I was there. Uh, and then after about a year and a half, my mentor at Tumblr left. I took over his job as team lead. And then about 6 months after that, I left Tumblr to follow him. We both worked at SAP, so pretty much the largest scale you can get. I was there for about a year and a half, 2 years. And then my team got absorbed by like the parent, like SAP. I was working for a US subsidiary that did like primarily government contracting and whatnot of SAP. But then my team got absorbed by the parent company. Uh, And I didn't really like the way that like things were going once we joined SAP proper. I didn't like the bureaucracy. I felt like I was doing I wasn't growing as much. So I ended up leaving SAP, and it was actually at the same time that I was chatting with Mike, and that's when I decided to join Effectful. So my background is primarily DevOps, data engineering, and systems administration. But I always did TypeScript as like a hobby in my free time because I found it like relaxing. That's going all the way back to when I was a pharmacist. Um, Now I do it professionally. But yeah, so my path into the programming world was a little bit strange. Hobby stuff, like various like little backend services. I had a couple of websites running when I wasn't doing this professionally. Um, Now a lot of what I do is still DevOps related for the company for Effectful. Um, um, the website, so Effects Playground, is a project that I worked on with Tim. The Yeah, I mean, I can't think of like other projects off the top of my head right now, but when I was working on like FPTS stuff, I rebuilt the parser TS project from the ground up for Julio. I also rebuilt one of the FPTS projects was like a project for interacting with the canvas. When I joined Effect, Mike and I rebuilt the Effect runtime like 2 or 3 times over the last several years together. I've contributed a couple of libraries to Effect. So like the printer library, CLI, Effect CLI was my baby. Yeah, so it's like I don't know, various different things. Most of my hobbies when I wasn't doing this professionally for Effectful were still related to Effect. We're like contributing library code to Effect. So yeah. Okay. Uh did we deploy this? Well, but jolly about Christmas. Yeah, Mill Point dude, thank you. It's kind of like a strange path I've had into programming or into software engineering on a professional level. But now I do like a variety of different things. I still do a ton of systems administration and DevOps, automation, that type of thing. But I also do this kind of stuff. I do like just a variety of different things. I know they're touring. I really wish I could go, but I can't. Yeah. Sheen, stop. Start. Okie dokie. Let's try this again. Song. Cue. Uh-oh. An error has occurred. What are we doing that Twitch doesn't like? We're getting a 400 from the chat messages endpoint. Is song working still? Let's see. Uh, we need to fix this. Yeah, I know. I just fixed it. uh, maybe the message we're assembling is too long. Let's see. Twitch API reference. Once we get this working, we'll probably wrap up. But let's get this working. No, not chat settings. What am I doing? I haven't deployed it yet. So it'll still not have a space. I'll deploy it shortly. I want to send a chat message. Send a chat message. Okay, message. The message is limited to when do you get a 500? Broadcasters, blah 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 blah. Broadcast not valid. We know that this is not the case. So, message is sent. To include emoticons, use the name of the emote. Don't include the colons. Okay. Um, let's log out the message. We have to read the plain ways for the fix to the other thing. So, oh, do I have this? No. Okay. So this should be fixed now. Whoa. Okay. I think it's because I forgot to do uh the render check. Lol. Oh wait. Let me get rid of the debug log. This. By the way, if you folks have suggestions on how I could improve the stream, please let me know. Very open to making this a nice place to chill, even if you're just here for the music. Okay. Cool. I wonder if I should separate out the like the we could also add the person who requested it to the chat, but I don't think we do that right now. I don't like that it I think what I want to do instead here is this. So const current track equals or dot unsafe head. Where's it? Let's do this. Array dot is non-empty read only array threats. We're gonna put this outside. We're gonna put this inside. And we're gonna say current track is track 0. Array dot head non-empty. This way we have type safety if we break something in the future. Next tracks is going to be tracks. Is going to be array dot drop force 1. The current message is going to be currently playing. Print. This is a string. Yeah. And then we'll have Soy Pete Tech. Thank you very much for the follow. Really appreciate the support. Thank you so much. Thank you very, very, very much. Um, so let's do this. Let's only add the numbers to the next up tracks. So we're going to do this. And we don't really need pipe up here anymore because this is pretty well contained. We can just do this. Oops. So all right, so this will give us the current track. This will give us the next ones. Currently playing is going to be the current track. Um, this is actually a good place for pipe. We'll do this. We'll do this. And then we'll do an array dot join. What we can do here is this is the current message. Now, yeah, that feels okay. So hopefully this will give us a little bit of a better message. Uh-oh. I think I did the same thing. Yeah, sure did. All right, one last shot here. Hey, nice, cool. And I like the logs we're getting too because it says because we're annotating our services with the service name, we're getting the message that we're handling and the service that's handling it, which is kind of cool. And all this debug stuff, we can actually shut off by going to here and doing infos. Cool. We should get like much cleaner output now from our server here. Great. So let's double check that this works. We're only getting info messages, which is great. So cool. Very nice. All right. Let's commit this. With Hashem and support or support for song view chat macro the push. Cool. Very nice. All right, let's find somebody to raid. Thank you all very much for hanging out. Let's see if we can find somebody good. Well, listen, everybody have a wonderful day. Hope you all enjoyed the stream, and I will see you all next time. Cheers, folks.